And what is something that you wish every leader knew about?
I think one of the key sort of big learnings for me, and I share it with any leader, is the value of transparency. I think, sometimes being, aggressively transparent, fiercely transparent is scary. And I have to tell you, it's been a huge asset to us. Now, that could be everything from physically. I mean, you're in my office right now. You can see by video, and this is in the middle. It's actually sort of hard to see behind, but I'm in a huge room down this way, and everything is open. Everyone can hear everything I say. But it's not just that. It's also every report that I get goes to the entire company. So we really try to do that, and that may be scary on the surface, but I think produces phenomenal value behind the scenes and really empowers your employees in a big way, especially like us, we're in 21 countries. So that communication between regional offices is very important.
And talk about building trust.
Right, exactly.
Like the kimono is open, so to speak, right? Completely open.
Well, then everyone's trying to help solve it, and no one is surprised by an issue. We're all on the same page, working together to try to solve it.
That's awesome. What is something that you want to leave future generations with?
I hope a better planet to some degree, or at least a path to a better one. And also inspiration that you can really create a sustainable, purposeful business that wins on all the classic criteria of entrepreneurship, which is fast growth, profitability, fame, you name it. I mean, we have our own TV show that's in its 4th season now about TerraCycle called Human Resources. We've written books. We're on magazine covers. We're growing every year, profitable. But I want to show you can do that through purposeful business and hopefully inspire others to do similar ideas.
What most concerns you?
That if you zoom out to the sort of, average business owner, average business, that they just don't care about these things. Not because they're bad people or they, want a negative outcome for the environment, but because they just don't have the time, resources, or, background to understand, to know how to action these things. And I just feel like the environmental movement, whether it's NGOs or social businesses, it's sort of too little, too late. And there's just not enough. I go around the world, speak at conferences all the time, and it's always the same people who pop up, and that actually is really disappointing.
Yeah. Yeah, that's it is disappointing, and it's concerning.
It is, and I think, look, I don't want to leave with sort of a non-resolvable downer. There is a silver lining. The silver lining is that all the power, unlike what people think, is in the hands of the consumer, because the consumer is out there voting multiple times a day with money on what they want more to exist. And the best way to think about this, if you're out there shopping, anyone watching this, should be anything you buy, imagine that after you buy it, 2 to 3 more of that same object will exist. After you purchase it, would you still purchase it?
Yeah.
It's not really even a one-to-one replacement, right?
Right.
It's first, whatever in that category you didn't buy, 3 less of that will exist the next day, and 3 more of what you bought will exist. Would you still make the decision in that respect? Many times people say, well, like, whether it's, about buying fur, buying meat, buying things that are not environmentally friendly, you pick it. Oh, it's just a little thing. It's not going to change anything. But the ripple effect is actually much bigger than people perceive. Yeah. So you can change it easily. It needs statistics. One of the books I wrote, I was, researching like how fast can an industry evaporate. And it turns out, if you run the numbers, if everyone stopped buying chewing gum around the world, it takes 6 weeks for the entire business of chewing gum to disappear. All brands, all gone. They take about 6 weeks. That's it.
Wow.
If there was a mass boycott of that one, and that goes for any product, if we all stop buying one thing, 6 weeks. That's pretty fast.
So the power rests in the consumer.
Entirely. And I think the consumer doesn't give him or herself any credit.
So in other words, doesn't really claim their power. Like when you look at the data on engagement, like 70% of people are disengaged, Tom. People rate the worst time of their day, worse than cleaning up the kitty litter or taking out the trash, as a time with their bosses. And then 75% of businesses fail within the first 9 years, like die. So we're starting businesses and they're not surviving. So the system's really messed up.
Yeah.
So in other words, get more engaged with your choices in terms of recognizing the power that you have.
Yeah, and it's the simple thing. I don't think you need to worry about knowing the ins and outs of every product, because like who knows what chemicals are in their shampoo or their lipstick. Like then becoming an expert, it's too much to ask.
Right.
Just have simple truths in the back of your mind. Everything I buy will become waste one day. Do I feel good about how this product came to be? And note that if I buy it, significantly more of that specific product will exist and significantly less of the alternatives will exist.
Mm-hmm.
Just if you have those simple truths in the back of your mind, it may change your habits, and then we may consume our way into a better world.